I want to run for president, but how do I fund a campaign? I have helpful information to help you in your campaign journey. First, you need to fund your campaign. So, can I just apply for a bank loan to fund my campaign? Well, not exactly. If you're running under a political party, you may be eligible for the Presidential Public Funding Program. Under the Presidential Funding Program, eligible candidates receive federal government funds to pay for the qualified expenses of their political campaign in both the primary and general elections. To become an eligible candidate, you must raise more than $5,000 per each of at least 20 states. Public funding is an option. To be eligible for it, however, the nominee must agree to limit spending to only the grant and cannot accept private funding. Now, on to the next step, spending. Candidates may spend an additional $50,000 from their personal funds that does not count against their expenditure limit. Candidates do not have a cap on spending as long as all the funds raised came from private donors. All the funds raised for the campaign must be spent towards campaign expenses only, on things such as TV commercials, media propaganda, equipment, events, transportation. However, the funds cannot be spent for anything outside of campaign-related expenses. But I don't know where I can get the money for those large expenses without having to receive public funding. Well, there are always interest groups that are willing to finance the candidate's campaign in hopes that the candidate can advocate for their common goal. Interest groups are groups who share a common interest or goal as the candidates. Some examples of interest groups are the NRA, the AARP, and the American. Candidates are now strictly required to identify the names, occupations, employers, and addresses of any individual or interest groups who contribute more than $200 in an election cycle. So just keep that in mind. The final thing you need in order to have a successful campaign is a PAC, or a Political Action Committee. A Political Action Committee, or PAC, is a political committee organized for the purpose of raising and spending money to elect and defeat candidates. Most PACs represent business, labor, or ideological interests. Political action committees are private organizations